How did you get over suicidal thoughts? Serious? I realized that the sun would come up tomorrow. With or without me, life continues, so whatever problem I had, in the overall scheme of my life at that time, didn't really matter, and ending my life, ruining my family's life for the sake of my problems, didn't change my problem. Now I look back at the problem I had, and realize that it wasn't as big as it was at the time in my young brain. The sun did come up the next day, and life did get better. I need this thread. Not much seems to work for me. I pictured all my friends and family at my funeral. Or I pictured my friends being too busy to come. And I thought, I might not make it to their funeral, but I still like hanging out with them. Now, years later, no suicidal thoughts at all. I lost my 30-year-old stepbrother. I was kinda close with him, but I saw how it affected that side of my family. That was the point where I knew I would never be suicidal again. We are here, might as well have a go at it. Medication, counseling, and the desire to see my son grow up. I was in a position I had caused by not making any decisions when it mattered. Life had kind of just happened. It took a while to realize just how unhappy I was with the situation I was in, and it was this unhappiness that led to the thoughts. Once I did realize though, thankfully I got help. There's so much stigma attached to mental illness that it can be easy to suffer in silence. Don't ever go quietly into the night. I was pretty much ready to die when I really decided to think about it. There are still things here that I want to do. Things that would have made me feel content with everything, even when I was suicidal. I can't do those things after I decide to kill myself, so I may as well go for them now. It's been about a year since then, and I'm no longer idealizing suicide. Things aren't perfect, but they're better than they have even been before. Honestly, talked to a trusted doctor and was prescribed Lexapro, established strong communication lines with family and close friends, established hobbies that kept me going, and learned skills that interested me. It's not easy, none of it, but the value in life isn't free. Sometimes you just gotta make something of your own to have. For a long time I was just scared to be myself, for almost all of my childhood in fact. And now I'm 19 and am finally shedding some of that shame and self-loathing I've lived with since like second grade. Suicidal thoughts are still there, and mortality is still kinda a weird topic. But I'm starting to understand it more now, and to get to accepting all that is through thinking about it a lot. It sucks, especially at first, but you'll start to find your own philosophy towards death eventually. Then you can focus on making your own purpose in the world around you. In my experience, you never really get over it. It may or may not be the case for you, but for me I have accepted that they'll always be there. What I have done instead is given myself a number of reasons to argue against them. For instance, life is too painful and hard, yes, but the alternative is nothingness, and even if you want that, it will come soon enough and you'll get to enjoy it then, so why not wait around a bit longer? Or I feel awful and I'm never going to feel any better. Yes, I know you feel that now, but I also know that you felt that way before, and then you did feel better again, so maybe you're just not in a place where you can be rational or logical just now. I wanted to wait until there was at least enough on my saving account to cover cleanup and funeral. Currently looking for a new stretch goal. Stopped drinking for a bit. Marijuana. I went to my doctor, intern hospital. Then, of course, back to the hospital a couple days later because of immense thoughts of grandeur. I thought I could talk to God. I am a person who has dealt with suicidal depression for a long time, as far back as the age of 5 years old. For most of that time I kept it a secret. I never wanted to worry anyone. In fact, I only very recently told my mother that when I was 5 I held a knife to my throat while my stepfather slept and tried to muster the courage to cut. I'm 21 now. Over the past few years I've gotten a whole lot better at understanding my depression, and by extension my suicidal thoughts and tendencies, and I do have a few tips for anyone who needs them. First and foremost is breathing. When your depression goes on high, it's a good idea to stop, close your eyes, and breath in and out very slowly. It tends to slow everything down. In other words, it clears your head. Another positive thing to do is to find something that helps your emotions flow. A lot of the time sudden bouts of depression and suicidal thought are the result of building unexpressed emotion. In my case, whenever I need it, I go to YouTube and listen to Eve 6's Inside Out on loop. Sure, it's a super edgy song, but first of all I love it, and secondly hearing it makes me sad, but sad in a way that makes me feel better. Sort of like crying, you know? It lets out the pressure so that I can feel better. Identify things will give you a similar reaction and it'll help in the long run. Suicidal depression hurts a lot. It's like a hole in your chest that aches, and never stops aching, and no matter what it won't ever fill up. The biggest mistake, ironically, is attempting to fill it with stuff. Games, people, etc. For instance, don't think you've found the one just because a person takes some of the pain off, you know? Anyone can do that, that's what it means to have a friend. It's hard, trust me, I know, but it's not impossible to deal with. If I could do it, I'm betting anyone else could, too. In the short run, realizing that it would take away the chance for anything to get better. I still had them for a while, though in the long run, changing the way I live. I started to work out, took care that I did things on time, tried to procrastinate less, and in general just tried to take control of my life. Those little things really add up. I honestly think of all the people who wronged me and remind myself that if I die, I can't get back at them. I have a lot of rage and anger, so it keeps me going. It is what I do when I am at the brink and am actively considering it. Antidepressants and psychotherapy. Also, don't keep your suicidal thoughts to yourself. Tell someone, anyone. It comes in wave. I distract myself with stupid things, like new hobby or a trip overseas, basically crest something to look forward to and do. Then after a period of time it comes back. And I do it again. I'm not sure it's healthy, but I don't want to risk being locked in a padded room somewhere or have to take drugs. I know a few other people have said it, but at my worst the thing that stopped me was thinking about what it would do to my friends and family. 10 years ago a guy in my year at school committed suicide, and seeing what it did to the people close to him as well as to everyone who knew him left a serious impression on me. Even when I was at my worst alcohol abuse-wise or self-harming, I could never bring myself to go all the way because I couldn't do that to the people I knew all around me. So maybe try thinking about that. Anti-anxiety medication, and learning as much as possible about logical fallacies. Rational Wiki's got a great list for that. Oh, and of course, reflecting on the value of life itself. It turns out that not living kinda sucks more than living with minor dissatisfactions and occasional social pain. To put it simply, if you end it they win, replace they with whatever you need, be it people telling you that you are worthless or just life kicking you in the face over and over. Playing games with random peeps works. I try to always have something to distract me. Like when I go to bed I put on a video to listen to so I can fall asleep to that, and so I won't start thinking about life and death constantly. 8 years of therapy was a start, but making good friends is the best way to deal with depression. I made a rule. I'm only allowed to go that way if there's no one left for me to hurt. No friends, no family, no one who would miss me or be affected by me killing myself. You'd be surprised how many people care about you, if you stop and think about it for long enough. I stopped taking my depression subscription. To be honest, I still have them sometimes. They come back to me rarely though. First time when I tried to bury the thought, when I decided I want/need to live, was when my best friend called to me, that she's pregnant and she doesn't know what to do. So I decided to stick for a while just to make sure everything is okay, her boyfriend is treating her right and he's not running away. And the thoughts disappeared for few months, when I was busy with thinking of her and my future nephew. I was really scared that because of the baby we wouldn't see each other, and I would kind of lose my friend, but it was completely different. We were spending time every week, which was more often than before. And I think it wasn't me making sure she's alright, but it was just being able to spend time with someone who means so much to you. Her son was born a month ago, and he brought me so much happiness. I believe I'm good now, even though I still think of killing myself from time to time, but I know that I would break my best friend's heart. And my pets, and my parents, and my boyfriends. I got off meds and I'm coping. For them and for me, because I know now, that there are things worth fighting for. Try to find something that will keep you occupied and bring you back to the point where you know there's something you'd miss dearly after your death. For me it was my best friend and her son. For you it might be everything, it doesn't have to be a person. Good luck.